Guys, welcome to Dream Body Lifestyle TV. In these times of stress and storm, it's a superpower for you to stay calm. When someone upsets us, this is often because they aren't behaving according to our fantasy of how they should behave. The frustration then stems not from their behavior, but from how their behavior differs from our fantasy. Let us not get carried away. Calmness is a superpower that you need to develop for you to be able to survive in these turbulent times. Over the past decade, this way of being I've gradually been cultivating in myself. I've been taming my tendency to get angry and argue with people when their behavior doesn't match my expectation. As human beings, we all have an idea in our heads about how things are supposed to be. And sadly, this is what often messes our relationships up the most. We all get frustrated when things don't play out the way we expect them to, and people don't behave like they're supposed to. We expect our spouses and children to act in a certain way, our friends to be kind and agreeable, strangers to be less difficult and less aggressive, and so on and so forth. Now, anytime we meet people, we always have a mental construct. We always have a mental narrative, a mental movie that we're already playing on how these people should behave. And when reality hits us, and everyone seems to be doing the opposite of what we want them to do, we overreact. Anger sets in, frustration, stress, arguments, tears, etc., etc. So what do we do in these times? The first thing I'm going to ask you to do is a very easy word. B-R-E-A-T-H-E. Breathe. You can't control how often other people behave. You can't control everything that happens to you. What you can control is how you respond to it all. In your response is your power. Have you ever asked yourself how big this world is? And even apart from that, do you know how many other human beings are in this world? We've got over 8 billion people. Do you think you can control the world with its sheer size, and you can be able to manipulate and control 8 billion people? No, that's task impossible. It's not going to happen at all. So when you feel like your lead is about to blow, take a long, deep breath. Deep breathing releases tension, calm down our fight or flight reactions, and allows us to quiet our anxious nerves so that we choose more considered and constructive responses, no matter the situation is. Breathing, in most cases, cuts off your heart and activates your logic. You can never respond to emotions. It's always to think through, and that's where breathing becomes a very big part of survival strategy when it comes to stress. So for example, do your best to inhale and exhale. Next time another driver cuts you off in traffic, breathe in through the mouth and breathe out through the nose. In a recent study that we did with the 1,200 members of our gym, overreacting while fighting traffic was the most commonly cited reason for overreacting on a daily basis. It caused people more stress than anything else. Just imagine if all the drivers on the road took a deep breath before making nasty hand gestures or screaming obscenities at others. That car that is driving very slow, the lane right in front of you, chances are she's a 98-year-old woman that can't see right, and all her joints are infected and infested with arthritis. She is in pain. That car that you keep on saying the driver just cut in front of you, chances are this guy is about to get a heart attack, or he's just gotten a phone call that his house has just been raided by thieves. He's running home to save his family. So we never really know what's going on with people. There is no doubt that it can drive us crazy when we don't get what we expect from people, especially when they're being rude and difficult. But trying to change the unchangeable, wanting others to be exactly the way we want them to be, just doesn't work. The alternative, though, is unthinkable to most of us: to breathe, to let go, to lead by example, and to accept people even when they irritate us. Here's the way of being that I've been cultivating and advocating. 1. To breathe deeply and often. Most of us hyperventilate. We breathe in through the mouth, we take air in through our lips, and then we bubble it out. Our lungs are starving, and then your body is full of all this tension. Secondly, to remind myself that I can't control other people. Thirdly, to remind myself that other people can handle their lives however they choose. It might look abnormal to me, but it might be that person's normal. If somebody grew up in an environment where talking at the top of their voice is the only way they communicate in the house, it might irritate me, but I can't control that person, but I can control how I respond to that. Number 4, to not take their behavior personally. That taxi driver that cuts you in front of traffic and sticks his hand out and gives you the finger doesn't really know me. So it's got nothing to do with me. It's got all to do with his anger and his frustration. Number 5, to see the good in them. A person like that, you gotta always feel sorry for them. You have to imagine how he has to make enough money to feed his family, and he has to work in peak traffic, which means that he has to be a bully for him just to be able to make sure that his family survives. Number 6, to let go of the ideals and expectations I have about others that causes unnecessary frustration, arguments, and bouts of anger. There is no right or wrong in life. There is more right, there is less right, and less wrong. We all determine what's right and what's wrong purely based on our upbringing and our expectations. But if somebody comes from a different background, what you find very annoying to them is very much a normal thing for them. And number 7, to remember that when others are being difficult, they're often going through a very difficult time I know nothing about, and to give them empathy, love, and space. Look at people that are annoying you and just give them a spiritual hug. Hug them without hugging them. Send love towards them, and you'll always see how much that always affects them. Have you ever met somebody, a stranger on the street, and you smiled at them and they turned, looked at you and smiled back? That's spiritual love. You're gonna have to learn to do that. Being this way, it takes practice, but it's worth it. It makes me less frustrated. It helps me to be more mindful. It improves my relationship. It lowers my stress, and it allows me to make the world a slightly more peaceful place to be. I hope you enjoy me doing this. It's just too stressful out there. Maintain and control your peace. See you soon. Bye-bye.